Okay, let's finish getting ready for this conference while I talk to you about how much to ask for in a settlement. So I've been posting about the new strategy for getting to a settlement with your employer in the UK right now because Acas has such massive delays. And a lot of people were commenting and saying, but I don't really know what to ask for when I'm filing for Acas Early Conciliation. And that makes so much sense. Like, the whole process is so confusing and you don't really know what's reasonable. Like, by the nature of most settlements where employers still insist on NDAs being signed, people can't talk about it. By the way, they don't tell you, but you don't have to say yes to the NDA. So let's talk about how we think about coming to a settlement amount. We do it by working backwards from what you would put into a tribunal claim form. Because as I said in my video yesterday, this is all about maintaining your legal leverage of potentially going to tribunal if the employer decides not to settle. So let's take an example of someone who got sacked because they were pregnant. So that would potentially have an unfair dismissal element if they had been employed for over 2 years, and could also have a discrimination element based on maternity discrimination. And so let's say that they believe that they have valid claims for both of those two things. So if you go and you look at what the tribunal would actually award for unfair dismissal, that is a formulaic one. You can just Google unfair dismissal calculation award. And the discrimination part would include something called the injury to feelings amount. So let's say that you told your employer you were pregnant, they sacked you, and this was so upsetting because obviously this is a big impact on your life that you had to be signed off and you had to be treated for depression, for example. You can then use what's called the Vento bands to calculate the impact that had on you to your feelings. That's literally what that's for, to then have a calculation for that. So that's just an example, but you see what I mean in terms of working backwards from the claims, looking at what the awards would be in tribunal, and then making a calculation based on that. Now, we have ways that we can help with all of this, and we have some webinars that are on the platform. If you go to vala.uk and create a free account and then go into the videos section, you can see, for example, there's a webinar about injury to feelings. But if you want someone to just walk through this with you, discuss the amount and discuss the rationale, I would highly recommend our case assessment product, which is on our homepage. It's £149. And what you do is you go and upload the material that you have. So for example, your grievance or the resignation or whatever the details that you have. You book a time with one of our legal experts. You go onto a call with them for an hour. You talk about everything. And then they will say, okay, if there's something that they think that is legally valid, they will talk through those specific claims, and then they will say, here's how much I think you should ask for as a settlement in terms of a range, and they will talk through that rationale, and then they'll send you a report afterwards that details it all out with explanations so that you kind of know what to do next. And then that will put you in excellent stead for actually filing the Acas Early Conciliation claim and knowing what to ask for. I hope that helps.